And he is Homer Center Principal Jody Rainey, high school principal, joins us this morning. Conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Jody, good morning.
Morning, Todd.
It's good to have you with us here today. We want to talk about a couple of issues, particularly with Homer Center School District. We were talking with Mike Vukovic earlier this morning about something that it's a really good tool, isn't it? Surveying the residents of a district to find out what their thoughts are, and then helps to inform the decisions you make. In this case, about returning to in-person school and Homer Center's course in the new future, so Homer Center doing something along those lines with the listener survey or a parent survey. How's that one going?
Things are going well for us, Todd. What we're looking at in the high school, we had for the whole year, they had choice to either attend in person 5 days a week, or they could do synchronous remote learning, or they could take our cyber option, which would be an asynchronous remote opportunity. And so what we did is we just recently communicated in the high school to our students, our staff, and our families that we're looking at April the 6th. That'll be the first day after Easter and the first day of our final quarter. That if students are planning on coming back in person, they need to notify us, and that will be their start date to come back would be April the 6th. Mm-hmm. If they don't come back April the 6th, that's okay. That's still their choice, but then they will finish the year out as a remote learner for us in whatever mode they're in right now.
But you need to know their intentions right away.
Yeah, we need to know before April 6th, obviously, for planning purposes, I mean, not only instructionally, but operationally. Obviously everyone knows the last quarter, there's a lot of different activities that take place within a school, and then you're getting into closeouts and, classes that are finishing up and stuff. So there's a lot of different things, not only from the instructional standpoint, but it's also logistical planning that you need to be able to do, and not knowing who to anticipate being in the building and who isn't going to be in the building during the instructional day just makes that planning a lot more challenging. So that's why we're asking people just to notify us if their intent is to return to full in-person learning by the 6th. And again, it's clearly a parent choice. I've told you this before on this platform, that that's the one thing I think I'm very proud of, and I think has worked for the Homer Center School District, is we've given our families choice, and they can make that decision based on COVID concerns or family dynamics that exist within their homes, that either the need to send them 5 days a week or the need to keep them home exists. So we have lots of reasons why kids are here, and we have lots of reasons why they're learning remotely. But I'm very proud of the fact that we have left that up to the decision of our parents.
I spoke with Matt Joio earlier this week from Marion Center, Michael Vukovic from Indiana area in the last hour. And this from traveling to other schools for athletic contests and for academic things. There are some modern buildings that have been built in the last 10 or 15 years that have the extra wide, spacious hallways that makes that physical distancing much easier to accomplish. In older buildings such as yours, and some of the others around Indiana County, that's not an option. But it is a really big deal that the guidelines have been revised, and students can use those hallways now with the 3-foot distance rather than the 6-foot distance, and the classrooms, of course, as well.
Right, and I think too, we kind of took the approach of, it's the distance from the very beginning has always been, in the classroom. We've worked very hard to maintain that. We have a saying, we say, maximize our spaces, minimize our risks. So, we have a situation in our building in the high school, grades 7 and 8 move in our building like a cohort. So you're pretty much with the same group all day long. So we looked at things like common seating charts, and that way if I would contract COVID and you're my classmate and we can't get 6 foot, I'm not taking out 8 different people in the 8 different periods. I might only have to be quarantining one other student because we maintain that same cohort seating chart as they move through our buildings. So, I mean, I think that, I think the thing is a lot of times we look at recommendations and we do the best that we can, and we work within those parameters. But so for us, we've been we're fortunate in that regard. And also we do have, the building was renovated in 2008, our high school was. So even though it's an older building, a lot of the amenities that we have are modern and sometimes even better off than some of our neighbors, just because of the renovations that were completed. Well, now I guess it'd be 13 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, last year at this time, we were talking about what are these seniors going to do? They're going to miss out on so much. What are these athletes that do the spring sports going to do? They're going to miss out so much. It probably feels a whole lot better this year to be able to offer them some of the more traditional things that you would run into at this time of the year.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we talked, there's still some adjustments. I know for us, some things that are certain. We're planning on, even though our last day is June, I think, 9, we are planning on graduating Saturday, June the 5th, at our football stadium like we did last year, just so we can accommodate our parents and our families and our graduates. Last year, we did that at the football stadium. It was a huge success. It worked well. And our intention is to go back to the auditorium, but we realize we're not going to be able to fill an auditorium shoulder to shoulder like we normally do for graduation. So we made those plans. We do an awards night, which we're going to do in person this year. Usually our teachers are required to attend. We've excused them so we can accommodate the parents of the kids being recognized. So we still have to make some adjustments to things like that. We're working now on our band and choral concert, which we're looking for to happen in May. I believe it's 4th. We just set that date today, but we're going to do an outside concert down at our football stadium this year.
Wow.
So, things like that. The only thing that you worry about this time of the year is the weather cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
We have a prom scheduled and, so with some adjustments, and I think that's the thing, Todd, that really for us, for the first time in a long time, we see a lot of light at the end of this COVID tunnel, and we just don't want to rush to it too quickly. We want to make sure that we're still being vigilant and, abiding by the guidelines that are given to us and, and not taking a huge step backwards. We'll continue to take baby steps forward. And hopefully my hope and prayer is that by the time we come back in the fall next year, we'll be as close to normal as that we can probably ever get. And, with vaccines happening, I know a lot of our staff have been vaccinated already. There are others that, are still yet to go. But those things are happening slowly but surely. And, so there's light for the first time, and that's encouraging.
As close to normal, and yet with a newfound adaptability, probably much more than you thought that you would ever be, because now you've learned over the course of this past year that we can be flexible, we can make adaptations, and we can do what we want to do with the kids and make sure that they get their educations.
Yeah, I believe that, and I think too that the kids have been phenomenal throughout. They want to have their friends, they want their activities, and they're willing to do what they need to do in order to have them. It's not exactly the way they would hope and envisioned. Even our spring athletes, you mentioned athletics earlier. Keep in mind last year they didn't get to do anything. So that was easy for us during basketball and stuff. Well, why do we have to do this? Well, we can be like last year's spring sports. They didn't get to do anything. So I think that, I'm very much committed as the Heritage Conference president and also just as the principal of the kids at Homer Center that we get a very positive experience for our kids this spring because it's the least we can do for so many things that they lost out on last year.
Absolutely. Those sports schedules for the spring are so very, very important. I don't think people realize how important athletics are to a school district and to the kids, to their mental approach to life. There's direct links, aren't there?
There are. And one thing we're doing actually this Friday, Todd, is Social Emotional Learning Day across the state.
Oh, yeah?
And you hear a lot. Actually, there are a lot of administrators I know here at Homer Center. Thanks to Mr. Vukovic up at Indiana, they're leading a course in social emotional learning, and our guidance counselors have taken the lead. We're doing a social emotional learning day for our students this Friday. We have a lot of activities planned for the afternoon for both teachers and for students. And for people not familiar with social emotional learning, it's in a nutshell, it's more than this, but it's basically learning how to management of your emotions, how to problem solve, and building and maintaining relationships, all things that I really, before COVID, very much value. And I would hang my hat on saying that Homer Center does an exceptional job in those areas at Homer Center High School, at least. And, and those are things that we will be focused on next year in our training with our staff and the activities that we do, because I think if we can reestablish those connections, not only student to teacher, school to community, the parents, and student to student, teacher to teacher, I think that the reestablishment of those relationships will definitely, in my opinion, it will definitely accelerate any type of academic gaps that we may have or we will continue to experience. I think it all starts, I believe this to my core, that it all starts with relationships, and it all, our understanding and having empathy and understanding that not everybody lives the life that we live.
Yeah.
Everybody has their, stuff that they deal with. And so to let people felt like they can be heard, and to know that there's a place to go to, that we're going to be supportive of them, not only in their school endeavors, but also just in their personal lives. We're trying to produce, good, solid men and women that will go out into our communities and make a difference. And, so I'm really excited about Friday for us here at Homer Center High School with the Social Emotional Learning Day that the counselors have planned. It's pretty extensive, and it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, sounds like it will be. Jody Rainey, Principal, Homer Center High School, thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey, thanks, Todd. It's always a pleasure.
And it is for us as well. A little inside joke there. Thanks. Have a great day, Jody.
Yep, that's right, Todd. We'll tell them when we see them.
There you go. Have a great day.
You too, Todd. Thank you.
Bye now.